Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine. Mike Avery has covered the outdoors in Michigan for more than 4 decades, and that tradition continues today. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Jay's Sporting Goods, the Yater Insurance Group, Angler Quest Pontoons, The Forward Corporation, Security Credit Union, Offshore Tackle, Hammond Drives and Equipment, Garber Chevrolet, the West Branch Visitors Bureau, Rapid River Knife Works, and by Michigan Brand Meats. Now, here's Mike Avery.
Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network. So glad to have you along with us as we kick off this month of Rocktober. Rocktober, the most rock and roll month of the year in the outdoors here in the great state of Michigan, in my opinion. Why is that? Well, because everything's open. Deer season is open. Small game is open. Waterfowl will be open. Some great fall fishing. I don't know what more you could ask for. Okay, I do. I could ask for cooler temperatures and maybe a little bit of rain. I know I've been harping on this whole rain thing. I look at the forecast. You know, we're sitting in the studio midweek, right? I look at the forecast for this weekend, and it's calling for 82, 84, 83. I'm not going to go hunting when it's 84 degrees. It doesn't even appeal to me. And what if a big doe did walk in front of me and I put her down? I don't want to have to deal with trying to process an animal when it's that warm. And man, has it been dry. Holy, our poor food plots. They're just crying. They just want any kind of rain. They want any kind of moisture. We got a little bit of rain last week. You know, I look at the forecast, continued heat, continued dry. But eventually it's going to cool down. And when it does, I'm going to be out there bow hunting. The season is technically open right now, right? And again, as we're in the studio this morning, on opening morning, I did a Behind the Mic live stream, and I talked to a few folks who were out there hunting, because as I came in this morning, it was like 50 degrees. It felt pretty good. So bow season's open. It's been hot. It's been dry. I got to be honest, I'm not really ready for bow season. And I think a lot of it is the temperatures. I have a hard time putting myself in the frame of mind of buttoning things up and being ready to go when it's 80 degrees. I'm shooting a crossbow, so it's not like I need to spend hours and hours dialing it in. I did go up to Jay's last weekend, and I got some of those new broadheads. I got some of the Rec broadheads. Matt Taggett of Rec Broadheads was on the show with us last week talking about his expandable broadheads and the new locking system. And that was the one thing that really frustrated me about Rec broadheads in the past, and why I actually went to Rec fixed blades for a while, is I couldn't figure out how to put the blades back together when I would trip them and they would expand, and then I had to use this little locking collar and stuff. And like this, I want to use Michigan-based products. I will support Michigan-based products, but I couldn't figure out putting the expandables back in their locked position. So I went to their fixed blade heads. But now, this new locking system, this is nice. All you do is just take the blades, you slide them back up in the ferrule, and you click them together, and there you go. You're good to go. I also, while I was at Jay's, I had to get some new lighted nocks. If you are a bow hunter, I don't care if you're shooting a recurve, a longbow, a crossbow, a compound, these lighted nocks are really something else. They let you follow in the path of your arrow, especially in low light conditions, right? When you are likely to be making a shot, you can get them in red, you can get them in green. I think they also have them in blue. But it's really very helpful, whether you have a camera with you or not. And I'm not talking a professional broadcast camera, but I'm talking about just a little portable camera, or your phone mounted on your bow or in your blind or something with you. You can go back and look at where the shot was. Now, your mind knows what it thinks it knows about the shot, right? You say, okay, I remember it was a good shot. But if you have a way to document that and go back and take a look at it again to verify what you actually did, that lighted knock is very, very helpful. But neither lighted knocks or broadheads are cheap these days. But you know what? Nothing is cheap these days. People complain about everything costs so much. It does. But if this is your passion, if this is your lifestyle, if this is what you do, you got to be committed to it. It's going to cost you a few bucks. Now, I did waste some money this past week, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm going to tell you a story, so hopefully you can benefit from it, right? I like to say you can benefit from my mistakes. I, last spring, got all of my licenses for the year from the DNR. My fishing license, my base license, my combo tag, my turkey tag. I got them all last spring. And they came in the mail. And what I usually do is I just pull them all out of the envelope and I put them in my wallet and I forget about them until I need them. Well, this year, I forgot about them all right. I put my turkey tag in my wallet. I put my fishing license in my wallet. But I didn't put... my fishing license is online. But I didn't put anything else in my wallet. I didn't put my deer tags in there. And I don't know what I did with them. I couldn't find them. So I thought, okay, and this is the day before the season opens. And there was there was talk of the government shutting down and DNR shutting down and not being able to get your licenses. So I went in to get replacement licenses. You can do this. If you lose your license, you can walk into any license agent, show them your driver's license, and you can get a replacement license. Now, I read somewhere on the line a replacement license was going to be $3. I'm like, well, okay, that's no big deal. I spent $48, replacing my lost licenses. But that's my fault. And you know what? $50. Okay, $48. I think the money we spend on hunting and fishing licenses, I think the money I spend on hunting and fishing licenses every year is the best money I can spend. Oh, it cost me so much. I have so many kids. Listen, you're the one who decided to have a bunch of kids. You knew it was going to cost you some money. Oh, it's so expensive. I hate the DNR. Well, you might hate the DNR all you want, but the example I always use is if I take my 4 grandkids to the movies and buy popcorn and pop, I will spend more for that 2 hours of entertainment than I will for my hunting and fishing licenses for the whole year. And then if we go out to, go get a burger afterwards. Oh, what else? Oh, I'm real excited about some product that I got my hands on from Old Man Outdoors. Now, Old Man Outdoors is a company that I'm now working with, and to be honest with you, I'm not... I don't know them yet, so I don't have a tremendous sense of loyalty to Old Man yet, but I do have a sense of loyalty to Bob Ransom. Bob Ransom, a Michigan guy who I've known forever. He used to work at Eastman Outdoors, then he started Ameristep, then he started Primal, and through a series of events beyond Bob's control, he found himself looking for a new company to work with. So he's now working with Old Man. And for that, I am very grateful. I'm happy for Bob, and I'm excited to be working with Old Man because of Bob Ransom. But I got my hands on one of their new carnivore blinds. I had first seen a prototype of the carnivore 2 years ago, but never got to hunt with it. This thing is pretty cool. It takes the Wraith 270 see-through blind that I love so much and takes it to the next level. There's no zippers. Because you know how obnoxious zippers are on a ground blind. The door is held in place by magnets. And you also know, if you've hunted with these see-through blinds, that you need to have some kind of a way to block the sun coming in on certain days when it's sunny. And what I would do in the past is just routinely take a great big old beat-up black T-shirt with me in my bag, and whatever direction the sun was coming in on, I would hang that up. Well, this carnivore comes with 2 movable blackout curtains, which is pretty cool. Also, one of their base camp setups. Now, I want a permanent hard-sided, plastic, insulated blind, but I'm too cheap to spend the $2,000 on one. So this base camp is like a happy medium. It comes on a 7-foot metal platform, and there's a soft-sided blind that sits on top of it. So my grandson Trent and I, we're going to put that together here, and probably rather than hunt this weekend, we're going to put that together and take that out to the lease property and get ready for cooler temps. Boy, our Wednesday night live at the Lumberjack, the last one we had was outstanding. Thank you to everybody who showed up for that. Thank you to everybody at the Lumberjack. We were sold out. I can't wait to do one of those again. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show after the break, Jack Ammerman talking about the Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative, Bill Hahn of Jay's Sporting Goods with details on how you can save money at Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare or Gaylord on an old man tree stand and an old man ground blind. Then Jordan Farmer talks about using dogs to hunt bears, coyotes, and bobcat. Justin Tomei of MUCC checks in what's with the budget situation and the DNR and more. And then we'll talk with Anthony Moreschini talking about sturgeon fishing on the St. Clair River. And we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't hesitate to check in. Let me know what's going on. If you send me pictures, put the deer's tongue back in his mouth, please. Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Alpena on WZTK 105.7 FM. You can hear us in St. Joe, WSJM 94.9 FM, and you can hear us north of the bridge in Manistee, WTIQ 1490 AM 95.3 FM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by the Linwood Beach Marina and Campground. Linwood Beach can be your year-round Saginaw Bay fishing destination and your Angler Quest headquarters. And the fishing out in front of Linwood Beach Marina is going to get nothing but better as the water temps drop. And I'm talking about perch fishing, and I'm talking walleye fishing as well. And don't forget about the waterfowl hunting out there as well. Linwood Beach Marina is in the perfect spot on the west side of Saginaw Bay. Great facilities, great boat launch, wonderful people, knowledgeable. If it's time for you to put the boat to bed for the season, Linwood Beach can help you out there as well. Their website, linwoodbeachmarina.com. That's linwoodbeachmarina.com. In the first segment of the show, I was talking about the fact that I call October, I call it Rocktober, and I was going through the different seasons of what is open right now or what will be opening. And the one thing I did not mention pheasant season. When I was a kid growing up on the west side of the state, that's what we did. We didn't duck hunt, right? Like here on the east side of the state, all my friends grew up duck hunting. The west side of the state, when I was growing up, it was pheasant hunting. We started out squirrel hunting, and then we pheasant hunted, and then we deer hunted, and then we rabbit hunted during the winter months. Oh, pheasant hunting used to be a big, big deal here in Michigan. Maybe around the state. You might have heard this radio spot. I'm going to play it here just a little bit. It's only a couple of, like 40 seconds long, but listen to this.
Hey, Michigan pheasant hunters, have you heard? There's going to be rooster pheasants in the fields this fall. Starting October 20th, rooster pheasants will be released weekly on public land during the open season. Lots of them. Go buy a pheasant hunting license and head out to one of the 13 different release sites listed on the DNR's website. Experience pheasant hunting like it was in the 50s. Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to filling public lands with roosters and orange-clad hunters.
Now, the guy responsible for putting that spot on the air, his name is Jack Ammerman, and he's with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Jack, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. I'm well. Coming to you live from Crow Island State Game Area stork unit. I'm in the stork unit. I got out this morning and ran my dog a little bit before the heat hit us.
Yeah, man, We have no control over the weather, but this heat and the lack of rain is kind of. I can't wait till it cools down. I suspect you're the same way.
Yeah, well, it's cool enough right now. It's sweatshirt weather for me out here.
Good deal. Good
but it won't be that way for long.
So, Jack, why did you, number one, put this spot together, put it out there on the air, and why are you so passionate to promote pheasant hunting in Michigan these days?
Oh boy, in my life, I'm 62 years old, and I have not seen it like this before. I started out pheasant hunting when I was a young man, and it was as the population was sliding down. I could still get out there with my dogs and flush a bird or two, but nothing like my father used to experience. But I've just seen that now. I've got 58 days of hunting because of this program. It costs $25 for a license. There are 13 different state game areas, and there's pheasants. I can guarantee you, no matter which state game area you go to, there is a pheasant and there's a rooster in there, just waiting for you to hunt it. And it's unlike any other hunting. It's not like deer hunting. You deer hunt? Yeah, where do you hunt? Oh, north of Detroit. Nobody wants to give up their spot.
Right.
I just told you where I hunt. Come on and hunt it. There's roosters there. There's enough for me. There's enough for you. There's enough for the next guy. And when I see a program like that brings people out off the couches, off the whatever they're doing, get them back out in the field, it's an amazing program. And when I pull up into a parking lot and I see 4 cars there already, that tickles me pink. This is great. There's plenty enough room for everybody. Not the least bit concerned. So Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative Incorporated, we're a nonprofit, as the commercial just said. That's our only goal, is to encourage people to get out there and hunt. We'll tell you where the spots are. We'll tell you the birds are. I'll do my best to put you on the birds. I got a quick story for you on that one. Well, as a matter of fact, it took place in this very location. Last year I pulled up, and I was going to hunt, and there was a young man and a young woman just headed out, and they didn't have a dog. And so I opened up the door real quick. I said, "You guys just heading out?" They waved at me. Pheasant hunters are a different breed. They're social, and they'll talk, and they want to hunt together sometimes. And I said, "You guys have a dog?" I said, "No." "Well, you can hunt behind my lab if you want." "Oh, that'd be great." Well, we hunted, and we didn't get any birds that day. A young man said he's going to come back tomorrow. He didn't live too far away, and I said, "All right, so if you come back tomorrow, this is what I would do if I've got a dog. If I didn't have a dog, I would hunt it this way. This area over here gets pounded pretty good. Every dog in the area hunts this." I said, "But the birds will run into this cover over here. I would push that, and when you get to the end of the cover, be ready." And the next day, Mike, he sent me a picture of 2 roosters on the tailgate that he got following my advice. So did that hurt me? No, because those 2 roosters will be replaced in 3 or 4 days with 30 or 40 more roosters. It's a great program.
So the program reminds me of the old put and take style of pheasant hunting, but everybody reminds me, no, it's not, Avery. It's not like that. It's different. It's improved. It's better. How so, Jack?
All right, so the roosters here get released at night. You don't know what night, so the next day they're out there waiting for you. And the old put and take, they would tell you the truck will be here at 9 o'clock. And boy, people would be waiting for those birds, and the birds didn't fly well. And there were all sorts of problems with it. And no program's perfect. This one's got some problems too that we fight all the time. But when you flush a bird here, it's going to flush. It's going to cackle, and you may shoot and miss and flush it 2 or 3 times before maybe you possibly connect with it. But the put and take, it was a popular thing, but it's all we had. This is not too much different than going to a pheasant farm, paying $300 or $400 to hunt for half a day for 10 birds that you may or may not get all 10. People say, "Oh, these things don't live very long." Well, I beg to differ. I guarantee there's birds in this field right now that were put out last year that nobody got. So the birds are very different. They're raised instead of by the DNR. These are raised by the Michigan Game Breeders Association, and I apologize, that's not their correct name, but that's how I refer to them. But they're all licensed game breeders, and they know their stuff, because if they're not raising quality birds, these are the very pheasants that the pheasant farms charge, $20 or $30 a bird for. And if they're not good birds, those businesses go out of business. So we're getting the exact same birds. They're flyers. They'll run. They're smart. It's hunting.
So how many birds throughout the course of this season will get released on the state lands across Michigan?
Yeah, every state game area has a different amount of acreage that is huntable for pheasants, and there is a formula that Adam Bump with the DNR uses. He's done a great job with this, and so every state game area gets their allotment of birds, and they get dumped out there twice a week, released twice a week.
Twice a week, okay.
So, yep. So they're in, and we changed that this year. We lobbied him to make sure that the weekend hunters get an absolute fair shake. So if you're a Friday, Saturday, Sunday hunter, there's going to be birds out there. If you're a retiree that can hunt on Tuesday or Wednesday, there's going to be birds out there. So I would guess, and this is just a guess, I could tell you for sure if I had to, but for this area right here, I'm thinking probably 35 birds twice a week. Rose Lake, on the other hand, is a huge state game area, and they probably get double that. So it's every no matter where you go, which state game area you go, the ratio is going to be the same. You're going to get the same amount of birds per the acreage that you can hunt. And Mike, we talk about 13 state game areas. Let me see if I can remember these: Cass City, Cornish, Crane Pond, Crow Island, Dansville State Game Area, Lapeer State Game Area, and we got Leidy Lake, I think it's Leidy Lake, Point Mouillet, Rose Lake, Stanton, and the last one I went to, St. John's Marsh. I think I didn't count them, but I think I got them all. Oh, nope, there's one more.
I was going to say you missed one, but I wasn't going to bring it up.
I did. You're doing well. Town Line 16. That's the latest one. That's the northernmost spot. So out of all those, that Town Line 16 is the only one that only has one parking lot, one release area. All the other ones, like if you go to Dansville, there's 3 different spots. We were counted as one release area, but there's 3 different spots that you have to drive to hunt all the fields. So we're talking probably close to 30 or 35 parking lots that with individual fields. Lapeer State Game Area, you've got a 5-minute drive between 2 fields. And so if you hunt one and you get one bird, which I've done, get in the car, drive over and park in the other one, and hunt that one, see if you can get the other one. There's just plenty of opportunity. It's just a fantastic program.
And the pheasant season in Michigan starts October 20th. You need a small game license, plus you need this $25 pheasant stamp to take advantage of this program, right, Jack?
Well, you're close. You need a base license.
Base license, thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
Base license covers your small game. So for anybody 17 or under, the base license is $6, and you do not need a $25 pheasant license. For anybody 17 to 64, it's $11 plus a $25 license. If you're 65 or older, $5 plus a pheasant license. So it gets cheaper as it gets more expensive as you get older, and then it gets really cheap as you get even older. But it's so you're talking $36, and you can hunt 58 days, and there's guaranteed roosters in the field.
Hang tight, Jack. Hang tight, Jack. We got to take a break. We're talking with Jack Ammerman of the Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative. The website mphi.info, and MPHI stands for Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative.info. The season starts October 20th. Details coming up. More details after the break right here with Jack Ammerman right here on Outdoor Magazine. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Battle Creek on WBCK 95.3 FM. You can hear us in, let's go to Tawas, WIOS 1480 AM, 106.9 FM. And let's go to Marquette, WDMJ 1320 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine brought to you by Versa Skins. Michigan-based family-owned Versa Skins. Change your skin for the season you're in. Why buy a bunch of different sets of expensive hunting clothes when you can buy one good quality set and snap on and zip on an outer shell of a different pattern in less than a minute? If you need big sizes, 4, 5, 6X, Versa Skins can help you out. If you are a saddle hunter, Versa Skins can help you out. Go to the website, versaskins.com. You'll see what I mean. Or go to Amazon.com and do a search for Versa Skins brand. Versa Skins, change your skin for the season you're in. And right now, this season is the month of Rocktober. And later in the month of Rocktober, specifically October 20th, pheasant season starts here in our great state. Jack Ammerman is with the Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative. You can learn more at mphi.info. Jack, I've heard some people say, well, listen, I don't want to pay the $25 for the pheasant stamp. If you don't hunt one of these state game areas, you can still hunt pheasants on other lands without paying the $25 fee. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. So this is a pay-to-play type of thing. So if you want to hunt the state game areas and guaranteed roosters in the field, it costs you $25. If you don't want to hunt those lands, if you hunt private lands, if you hunt public lands in the Upper Peninsula, on a game bird preserve, you don't have to buy a pheasant license. Go do your thing, and man, good luck, and send me some pictures. But it's the pay-to-play. This is the only self-funded program in the state of Michigan that I know of. I mean, there might be others, but all our license dollars go into a pot, and that pot is by law, by statute, thanks to Ken Dalton and his efforts. They pay for the birds. There's no tax dollars. There's no nothing. It's all our own money.
Ken is an interesting guy. The guy who kind of spearheaded this whole concept. When he gets an idea, he's like a dog with a bone. He will not let it go. And because of that, we have this. I mean that in a positive sense. If more people shared that vision and dedication to whatever the cause is, we'd all be a lot better off.
Ken did very, very well getting this thing going. He saw that other states were doing this, and there are 26 states right now, Mike, that release pheasants for hunters. 26. Alberta, Canada releases 42,000 ringnecks for hunters. So we're not alone doing this. This is not some oddball program. We're at the back of the pack as far as that goes. But Ken had, and I tell Ken that all the time because I'm very appreciative of what he did. He did an amazing thing to get this thing through the legislature. But he had help. MUCC was in there helping him. The Michigan Hunting Dog Federation was huge in putting this thing together. So, the combined groups, it was amazing. You try and get the State House and the State Senate to agree on anything and then have a governor sign it and say, yeah, okay, that's a good idea. He jumped through some hoops.
Oh, man.
I was up till 1:30 last night listening to the state government proceedings on this budget crisis, because I absolutely want to see this program continue, and we have the pheasant program in that budget to go ahead and authorize to spend our own funds. So I was hoping for that.
Is this being the Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative, is this an attempt to bring back pheasant hunting to the way that it was in the 50s and 60s, or is this an attempt to try to expose as many modern-day hunters to pheasant hunting as possible, knowing that we will never have the number of birds that we used to in the old days?
Yeah, that's kind of a neat question, because I guess the answer is a little bit of a hybrid. I was in Brown City yesterday, Brown City, Michigan, and I talked to an old farmer. Well, I guess he's probably not a farmer anymore, but old guy. But so he said, in the heyday of pheasants, there would be cars lined up here for 2 miles, parked on the side of the road, and you'd pass by a field, and there'd be 8-10 hunting parties in there. You didn't need a dog. There were so many pheasants, and Will we ever get to that? No, I don't see that ever happening again. But we're at the point now where, I tell people that I'm the poster boy for this program because I had pheasant hunted. I've had dogs my whole life, Labrador retrievers, and I quit pheasant hunting in the mid to late 90s because it just was a walk in the field for the dogs. Now, do I go out and expect to flush? I absolutely expect to flush a rooster when I go out there with my dogs. Absolutely expect it. Does it always happen? No. And that's, sometimes you get criticism. Oh, we hunted, there's no bird. They didn't put any birds in the field. Boy, I'm here to tell you, I've been in fields, in state game area fields, where I know they released the birds the night before, only because when I see them, when I see the tracks, those tracks are fresh driving through there. So, oh man, I hit it on the right day. We don't even know the days that they're releasing these things. And I hunted my heart out, my dog hunted his heart out, but we never flushed a rooster. And I called the bird release gentleman, and I said, hey, were you out? I was in Dansville. Were you out in Dansville last night? He goes, yeah. Oh man, we hunted.
See, it's good to know. It's good to know that it's not like the old put and take, and it's like hunting real birds. Jack Ammerman, appreciate all the hard work on this project. It's Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative. The website, mphi.info. mphi.info. Pheasant season opens October 20th. And as Jack says, there will be birds out there if you want to chase them. We'll take a break. When we come back, Bill Hahn of Jay's Sporting Goods. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Lansing on WILS 1320 AM. You can hear us in Port Huron, WPHM 1380 AM. And north of the bridge in the Sioux, WKNW 1400 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine brought to you by Truck Trolley, the Truck Trolley. Well, listen, this truck trolley is saving my back. I have a truck trolley in the back of my Garber Chevy Silverado. No longer am I leaning over that tailgate to try to get to the stuff at the front of the truck bed or using my old man hook to try to bring it back closer to me. I put my cargo on the truck trolley. I slide it out so I can get to it. I slide it back to the front. Oh, it's a game changer. Check them out online at trucktrolley.com. That's trucktrolley.com. All right, at our recent Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack, we had a guest with us who I don't think has joined us before. Well, he was with us on a Wednesday Night Live fishing walleye on Saginaw Bay, but his name is Bill Hahn of Jay's Sporting Goods, and he's with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Bill, I was so happy to see you and John Callison of Jay's joining us at that event. It was such a good time, buddy.
Mike, I didn't know what to expect, but let me just say the air was electric. People were excited to be there. Everyone was having a great time. I can't wait to come to another one if I'm invited again.
Well, you'll be, if you're a good boy, you'll be invited again. But you are being a good boy because you're working with us and Bob Ransom on this whole promotion of some Old Man products. Now, I set the stage for this earlier. Old Man is a new company to me as a partner, but Bob Ransom I've worked with for years. I love Bob. I love working with him. I love his products. And you have a special deal now for folks to save some money on a couple of those. Give us the details.
Yes, I do. I'm excited, too, to work with Bob, as you said. Guy's been in the industry forever. Nobody knows tree stands and blinds in the state of Michigan from a manufacturing standpoint better than Bob. So when there was an opportunity to work with you again under the Old Man brand, I jumped at it. And we came up with a couple SKUs that are the Avery exclusives. Now, this is just to your listeners. I'm not advertising this anywhere else. You're the only guy that gets this deal to share with your listeners. I have what's called the Big Daddy Extra Wide 22-foot ladder stand. It's like a man-and-a-half ladder because it's a wide one. And it's got the lockjaw and truss system, so it's super easy, super safe to put up. That stand normally retails $329.99. Before I go into the other, I'm going to share the other product too. The other product I have is the Carnivore blind. This is a 270-degree visible blind, so you can see, a good swath around you there, like you like. it's got some features no other blinds have. This has an LED light system built into the blind, so when you get in there in the morning and it's dark, you can see things. You're not messing around with flashlights and dropping things. That retails for $299.99. Both of those items, we're going to make it real easy for your listeners. If they use the code Avery30, they get $30 off each of those items. So that ladder stand now is $299 with the Avery 30 discount, and that blind is $269.99 with the Avery 30 discount.
Excellent. Now this ladder stand, this locking system is something else because it allows you to lock into the tree. It allows you to lock into trees that are not necessarily straight, so it's very, very quiet. And that carnivore blind, I can't wait to get this thing in the woods. The fact that it has no zipper, that the door closes with magnets, is enough to make me get excited about it. So, Bill, is this available at the Clair store and the Gaylord store?
It is available at both locations right now in stock. You can also buy it online via our website. However, because of the prices I'm offering, I can't ship this. They're freight, especially the ladder stand's just big and heavy, and
Sure.
The freight is ridiculous on it. So I want to extend that discount to our customers that maybe can't get here right away. But if you buy it online, we'll hold it for you till you can get up for your next visit.
So if you buy it online, jsportinggoods.com, is there a place to put in the Avery 30 promo code? Is that how it works?
Yes, sir. At checkout, there is a spot to apply a coupon or apply a promo code. In fact, one of your listeners already bought one at the Wednesday Night Live last week. We did a special deal for the people that were there, unveiled it there, and someone took advantage of that. So I was really excited about that.
Excellent.
So it does work.
All right, so again, there's no shipping on this. You cannot ship these products out at this price. You've got to go into the store or order it online. And what's the process in the store? Is it do you tell the people back in the hunting department you want this discount? Do you tell the people at the checkout or what?
Anywhere there's a register, anywhere you're going to check out, our staff is going to be aware of the Avery 30 discount. We're not going to share it with anybody else, but if they come in and mention it and ask for it at checkout, that will be honored.
Excellent. And I'm going to do a video here. I don't think I'll have it up by the weekend, but I'm going to do a video on that carnivore blind, and then we'll also use one. I'll put together one for the tree stand as well. jsportinggoods.com, or go in person to Clair or Gaylord. Use the Avery 30 discount to get $30 off. Bill Hahn, appreciate that, and I'll look forward to talking with you again soon and working on future projects.
Sounds great, Mike. Thanks again.
Bill Hahn of Jay's Sporting Goods, jsportinggoods.com. We'll take a break for the top of the hour. When we come back, Jordan Farmer. Jordan is a big dog guy, right? And I am fascinated by and have much respect for houndsmen. Now, the bear hunting season is kind of wrapping up, but the coyote hunting season's coming up, and also the bobcat hunting season. I want to talk with Jordan about that. Then also Justin Tomei of MUCC checks in. What's going on in Lansing? What's going on with the DNR budget? And more coming up in hour 2 of this week's Outdoor Magazine.
Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine. Mike Avery has covered the outdoors in Michigan for more than 4 decades, and that tradition continues today. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Jay's Sporting Goods, the Yater Insurance Group, Angler Quest Pontoons, the Forward Corporation, Security Credit Union, Offshore Tackle, Hammond Drives and Equipment, Garber Chevrolet, the West Branch Visitors Bureau, Rapid River Knife Works, and by Michigan Brand Meats. Now, here's Mike Avery.
Indeed, this is the big guy, Mike Avery. Thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome. Welcome to hour number 2 of this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, heard on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across our great state of Michigan. And I say this every week, and I mean this sincerely. I think the best way to listen to the show, if you can, is on your local radio station, your local AM or FM station. That is the heart, the bread and butter. That is what my whole franchise revolves around, is those radio stations. It is it's no small task to get access to airtime on that many radio stations across our state, and it's taken a long time to do that. And I really appreciate the partnership of each and every one of those broadcast stations. So please listen to them if you can. If you can't, if your local station doesn't carry all 3 hours of the show, or if you live in one part of our state not covered by the broadcast signal, isn't it nice to know that there's a podcast version of the show that is available as a backup if you can't hear the broadcast version? Now, the content is exactly the same. I don't put out a separate Outdoor Magazine podcast. It is the same content as the broadcast show, but it's made available after the fact because I want to protect those broadcast stations. It's also available in a different venue. For example, you'll listen to the radio show on your local radio station, but the podcast is available online and all the different podcast venues that you are so familiar with these days, including my website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I put it on my Facebook page as well. It's also on Amazon, Audible, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, iHeart, SoundCloud, Spotify, yada, 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 yada. I do like podcasting, though, and each month I do podcasts for some of my advertising partners, including Angler Quest Pontoons, Killer Food Plots. And today, when we're done in the studio, we will record this month's Offshore Tackle podcast talking about the tremendous fall walleye fishing on Lake Erie. So keep an ear out for that. It's the month of October. So many things going on this month. My beloved bear season, I think it's over now. I think it's wrapped up. But I made a post the other day from some folks who were bear hunting with hounds. And the negative comments that got from some people, not all, but from some people, including those who claim to be fellow hunters, really, really made me mad. You know, if we are all in this together these days, I think we need to all be in this together, meaning if somebody is out there hunting legally and they are following the rules and enjoying their sport the way they want to enjoy their sport, I think it's up to us as fellow hunters to support them, to embrace it. Now, for example, let's talk about bear hunting, right? I love to bear hunt more than anything. I don't bear hunt with hounds because I like the close-up interaction of sitting over a bait. Some people would say I'm cheating, right? I'm not. I'm doing it legally. But I respect those folks who chase bears with hounds because you know what? There is no other type of hunting where you can really look at your quarry, decide if you're going to harvest it or not, and more than likely let it go. The Farmer brothers, Jordan and Justin, are two folks that I have talked with for several years here now about this concept of hound hunting. I think that they are the most knowledgeable hound hunters that I know. And Jordan is with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Jordan, thanks for checking back in with us. How have you been?
Yeah, good. Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me on. Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I tell you one thing. I would like this weather to cool down. I feel like it's August, and I don't like that part of things.
Yeah, it's pretty warm for this time of year. But.
Is bear season over now, Jordan?
No, we go right till October 26th.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, do you routinely run dogs during October, or do you slow down for interference with bow hunters?
No, we'll hunt. We hunt right up till the very last day. So we're hunting the whole season. So.
Tell me about this concept of being a houndsman. Is this something you learned to be, or are you, in the farmer family, were you born into the houndsman mentality?
Oh yeah, I was born into it. My dad and my uncles had dogs and just grew up hunting. I remember going up to camp when I was in diapers, and just I don't know. I just got hooked. And I couldn't imagine life any other way. But if I didn't do it, so I just ever since I can remember, I've done it. So it's in my blood, I guess.
The folks I know who hunt with dogs are so passionate about it. What is it? Is it that connection to your family's history? Is it something more? Why does this get in your blood like it does?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, it's it's a great family sport too. I mean, usually every weekend my whole family's out there. My mom, my dad, my kids, my wife, my brother, my nieces and nephews, my sister-in-law, it's a great camaraderie, and then the connection between you and the dogs and then just being out and God's, great wildlife, and being able to pursue these animals. And I think it's the most, like you said, the best way, we can really judge, the animals that we're chasing. We can very selective hunting, I guess. I'll call it that. It's just a very selective way of hunting, and I think it's a combination of everything. It just gets in your blood, and you get addicted.
Let's talk about the dogs. What do you guys run?
We got mostly blue ticks, and we got a couple of plot hounds too.
So those are going to be the bigger, longer-legged dogs, right?
Yeah, they're anywhere from probably 40 to 60, 70 pounds, depending. But, yeah, right around, middle-sized dogs.
So what's the relationship with you and the dogs? When you're not hunting, are they family pets? Are they in the house? You keep them out in kennels? In the farmer family, how does this all work?
Yep. Yeah. So no, our dogs, they're outside dogs. We have big setups for our dogs, insulated houses and whatnot, and they're outside. So I mean, I couldn't imagine having 10 hound dogs in your house. I don't know how that would work out real good, but those dogs, a lot of people they don't like that. Oh, dog on a chain or dog outside in the winter. Well, those dogs love it. I mean, they obviously have good airtight houses, insulated, they're fed and watered twice a day. We care for them. I mean, they're like our kids, and then we get home from work and we're always, spending time with them. It's not just that's the thing too with hound hunting, it's not, you're not, no offense, but a bear baiter, they're bear hunting. They're a bear hunter for three months out of the year, you know what I mean? And we're bear hunters 365 days a year because we're caring and feeding for the dogs, and there's so much into it. So I think that's a big big thing. That's why you get so into it. But the dogs are just they're family. They're our family. My kids are out there playing with them every day. We play with them every day, and it's never ending training and interaction. So.
All right, so speaking of training, do you, as the hunter, train these dogs how to hunt, or is it innate? Is it nature? Do they already know when you get a new pup? Does this dog already know how to bear hunt?
Well, so most dogs are, they have the natural ability. They have the natural ability to hunt, and that's what these dogs are bred for. And that's what you're breeding for, is to get, the best hunter. But, and there are some dogs that, they come out of the womb and we just call them natural dogs. You know what I mean? There's really no training with them besides caring for them and whatever, putting them in the right opportunity. That's as the hunter's job with training the hounds. You have to put that dog in the right opportunity, and you have to be doing it in a way where it's not failing, because the dog will get discouraged too. You have to learn how to read a dog and see when that dog's getting discouraged, or maybe it takes this dog a little longer to mature than another dog, so it's just very, you have to read each dog individually. None of them are the same, everyone's different. So you got to, like I say, read them. And
you got to stay with them. You got to be patient. You got to put your time in. We're talking with Jordan Farmer about running hounds. Jordan and his brother Justin are very, very famous Michigan houndsmen. You can find these guys online. Where I usually find them is on Facebook. There used to be a Farmer Brothers Facebook page. I don't know if that's still out there, but if you look around Facebook, you'll find these folks. We got to take a break. When we come back, more with Jordan about running hounds for bears and more here in Michigan, right here on Outdoor Magazine. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Caro on two stations, WKYO 1360 AM and WIDL 92.1 FM. You can also hear us in Muskegon on WKBZ 1090 AM and north of the bridge in Newberry, WNBY 1450 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine, need I say more? You want to hear it again? Okay, you know what sound that is. That's the sound of my Rapid River knife locking back open. I just took it out of my pocket. This one happens to be the Mike Avery signature edition of Rapid River knives. A big fan of Rapid River knives, handmade by craftsmen in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. If you use the promo code Avery15, that's Avery15, you can get 15% off your order at rapidriverknifeworks.com or in the showroom on US 2 just east of Rapid River. Now, the promo code will not work for the Avery signature knife because that one, the proceeds are going to Outdoor Driven, a group formed to get first responders and veterans on outdoor adventures. The website, rapidriverknifeworks.com. Check out the showroom. I'm telling you, if you go to the UP, you got to go to the Rapid River showroom on US 2 just east of Rapid River. It is a destination, and it is very, very cool. I appreciate the partnership of Chris Durson from Rapid River for doing the Avery signature knife. I really like this knife. I think it turned out great, and I love to be able to raise money for a good cause. Right now we're talking with Jordan Farmer about hound hunting here in Michigan. Jordan, in particular with bears. When you guys start out in the morning, how many dogs do you have with you?
Oh, it all depends. Anywhere between 4 and 6 dogs per guy, usually.
Well, and per guy. So then, I mean, are you putting out 4 dogs, or are you putting out 10 dogs?
No. It all depends on how old the track is or whatever. And then you can run up to 8 at one time. But yeah, it's usually, I'd say, on an average, about 6 dogs. After. When you first start the bear, you're just letting a couple go, and then you can cut a couple more in if you get the chance or whatever.
And how are you figuring out where to start? Do you guys have your own baits that you're starting? Are you running, tracks across a 2-track or what?
Yeah. So a lot of baits, and then a lot of guys, they drag roads. But in certain, you can't drag roads on federal land, so. Guys that are hunting state land that have a little more sandy roads, they can do that, check for tracks and drag. But mostly baits and rigging for us, or walking ridges, that kind of stuff.
Then how does a bear react when he knows he's got dogs behind him? What do they do?
Oh, it all depends on the bear. I mean, that chase is always dependent on that bear. A lot of people think you just let a dog go on a bear and it runs a little bit in trees or whatever, but a lot of times that's not what happens. So, sometimes they'll stop and try to fight dogs, or sometimes they'll run and never look back and never tree and never stop, or sometimes they'll tree right away. It just, every single bear is different.
Do you think some of these bears you run, have they seen dogs before? Is this not their first rodeo?
Yeah, no, I think, I think, there's definitely bears that are getting, that have been run before. I mean, they know the game or whatever.
So for those, all right, so let me cut to the chase here. Some people will say that you guys are being cruel to these bears by chasing them with dogs. What's your response to that, Jordan?
You're taking an animal and training it to chase another animal, and that animal that's being chased is in its domain. It's in its home. You know what I mean? It's like a robber coming into your home and chasing you around your house. You know where to hide. That robber doesn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the bear, the game that's pursued is in its domain. They know where to go. They know the tricks to play, the this and that. They have all the chances in the world to get away. And if you have good dogs or whatever, I mean, you'll catch the bear, you'll tree the bear, and that's just been happening for thousands of years. That's how people have hunted. So, if somebody thinks that it's not fair, I encourage everybody to come try it. I mean, whether you haven't ever tried it or you have, you've heard a bad story about this or that, I encourage everybody to try hound hunting, and I can just about guarantee that they won't have a bad experience, and it'll change your mind. If everybody would try it once, that it would change their mind on it being unethical or cruel.
And most houndsmen that I know are very welcoming. Just like you said, you would welcome people to come out and go on a. What do you call it? You call it a race? What is it, Jordan?
Yeah, we call them a race. Yeah, it's a race. Yep. You get a bear race, or chase, whatever. A lot of
chase. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Will every bear tree, or are there some bears just say, I'm not going up that tree?
Nope, some bears won't. They won't ever tree. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. That bear will never tree. It'll stay on the ground. It'll do whatever, but it'll never tree. And then, like I say, some will pop up a tree right away. It's all different. So,
of all the bears that you guys run during the long season, how many do you actually harvest, or what percentage? It's actually pretty small, isn't it?
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, I don't know. We started hunting on the 15th here, or whatever opening day was for the second season. I've probably hunted, I want to say 10 days probably, and we've harvested 4 bear, and we've let probably 6 or 7 of. So
that I don't think that can be overlooked. I mean, you guys end up getting a close look at the bear, whether it goes up a tree or just bays up or whatever. Know what that bear is. You probably know whether it's a boar or a sow, and you certainly know what size it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's a great thing too. We can sex the bear usually before we let a dog go, or if it's in the tree, or if we just see it crossing the road, a lot of times we can sex the bear, tell how big it is, whatever, and if that's not the bear we're going after, we pull off it and go find a different bear that we want,
Now, will you run these same dogs on coyotes in the wintertime? Are you guys coyote hunting?
No, we don't coyote hunt, but we bobcat hunt.
Bobcat. Same dogs?
Yeah, not all of them, but yeah, they are. There's only a select few that we bobcat hunt. But
is that a whole different program? Bobcats over bears?
I mean, kinda. It's definitely a different hunt. I enjoy bobcat hunting probably more than bear hunting. I love bear hunting, but I don't know. There's something about a bobcat and being in the woods in the winter, and they're an awesome creature to hunt.
How so?
Just the places that they take you, and the dog work is, for one thing. I think it takes a really good dog to consistently catch bobcat, I think, in my opinion. And, just to watch that dog work that cat track and then jump the cat, and, cats will do circles and figure eights.
Because they're cats.
Yeah, right. And it's just not an animal you see a lot, so it's something, it's cool. It's a really fun hunt.
Are you guys hunting UP and Northern Lower both?
No, just the UP.
So that leads me to my next question. What about wolves? Because I hear so much about if you're running dogs in the UP, you better be prepared to deal with wolves.
Yep, yeah, that's true. It's not, used to be, you always said, oh, I don't, hopefully something doesn't happen today. It's just a matter of time. If you hunt in the UP enough, unfortunately, the way that our state has not managed our wolves, it's just a matter of time before anybody, a hound hunter, duck hunter, grouse hunter, is going to have an issue with wolves and their dogs. So it's almost a fact of life now, unfortunately, and it's really sad.
When we had our first and only limited wolf season, you houndsmen were not allowed to go after them. I'm hoping that if and when we have another season, that they let the trappers and they let you houndsmen in on the action. Would you guys be a part of that?
Yep. Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yep, we will. If there is a hunt for wolves in Michigan, I can just about guarantee you every hound hunter, probably throughout the state, is gonna help out.
Well,
and everybody should,
Yeah. Well, we didn't reach our quota on that first season, mainly because guys didn't know how to hunt wolves, but also because they didn't let the trappers or you houndsmen get involved, because I think trapping and houndsmen is going to be the most effective and efficient way to control that population.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%.
Well, Jordan, let's hope that happens. I don't see anything coming up here in the next couple of years, but eventually it's got to happen, right?
I sure hope, Mike. I mean, it's like you say. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I hope something happens, because it's not good right now. So.
Yeah. Going back to bobcat, when let's see, isn't that the month people apply for a bobcat tag?
Yeah, you buy them over the counter. You buy them with your fur bearer's license, buy your fur bearer's license, and ask for your bobcat tags. And I believe there's a certain date that is cut off. You can't buy the tags after. And honestly, they've changed it a couple times, I think, in the last few years.
Yeah.
I don't know the date, but it's coming up here very quick. So
yeah, that was my point. Yeah, it is coming up quick. So if people want to get involved, take a look at the regulations, the guidelines, and listen. I'm going to check in with you or your brother as we get into the bobcat season this winter. We'll talk more about that if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
All right, Jordan. Appreciate it. Appreciate what you guys do, and I love the fact that you're keeping this tradition alive. I respect that. I respect you guys. And we will indeed talk again. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. When we come back, Justin Tomei of MUCC. Now, he told me he was going to be bow hunting today. He told me he might be cleaning a deer. Well, I hope that's the case. If not, well, even if he is, we're going to talk to him about budget situations and more here on Outdoor Magazine. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Sheboygan on Big Country Gold, WCBY, 1240 AM, 100.7 FM. You can hear us in Manistee and WMLQ, 97.7 FM, and you can hear us north of the bridge in Iron Mountain, WMIQ, 1450 AM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by the Sebring Harbor Marina. Don't think of the Sebring Harbor Marina just for summertime walleye fishing. Think about it for this time of year, for perch fishing, and specifically for waterfowl hunting too. They offer discounted slip rentals specifically for the waterfowl season. Having a dedicated slip is a great way to avoid the early morning boat launch traffic, especially on opening day. Check out the website, SebringHarborMarina.com. That's SebringHarborMarina.com. want to turn our attention now to, Lansing. Well, not just Lansing, right? But when I think about MUCC, I think about obviously a statewide organization, but they are based in Lansing, and so much of the work that they do is centered around Lansing, the legislature, the NRC, the DNR. I do not have the patience to deal in that world, to work in that world. That's why I have so much respect for, say, Justin Tomei. Justin is an MUCC staffer, but he thrives in that world. He thrives. He knows what's going on, the inside and the minutia of things that need to be dealt with, but you and I don't have the way of getting that done. Well, Justin does, and he's with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Justin, welcome back. First of all, we're talking to you on October 1st. Did you hunt this morning?
I did hunt this morning, yeah.
And?
Pretty slow, but I almost got ran over by one walking in through the corn, and then I saw one walking out, and then there was a flock of turkeys that was about 10 yards from getting shot. So,
well, I was going to say, do you have your fall turkey tag in your pocket?
I do, of course, yeah.
Yeah, well, good. Hey, listen, there was concern that we wouldn't be able to buy licenses on October 1st. How did that work out? What was that all about?
Well, there was a fear leading up to today that the government wouldn't, or the legislature wouldn't reach a deal on the budget. And had they not, and the government shut down, there was a very real possibility that DNR license vending would not be available to hunters. That has been averted. We are not shut down this morning. A deal has been reached, and they've kind of been jumping through some bureaucratic mechanisms to keep the government open until everything's finalized.
What about budgets, like the DNR budget? What's the latest on that? This thing is, I don't even know how to describe it, but what's going on?
Yeah, so if everyone remembers, we had the Senate budget, which included a license fee increase in it, and the House budget, which included something like 400 cuts to employees and, millions of dollars in cut revenue or cut budget. Obviously, nobody outside of kind of the negotiators have seen what the budget looks like. What I'm hearing is that agencies across the state are keeping all of their employees. There are cuts basically to every agency, and just in terms of the amount of money they get. But from what I'm understanding, the DNR budget is mostly intact, and we should know more in the coming days. Their goal is to get everything done and passed through the legislature by this weekend and have the governor sign it mid next week.
So you're hopeful, but you really don't know the specific details at this point.
Yeah, I don't have many details that I can share yet. It sounds, everything I'm hearing sounds positive, and by the time people hear this, we should have more information out. So you can go look for it then. But we should have more information. But it sounds generally positive.
Well, and one of the places to look for that information is on the website mucc.org, because you guys are very good about putting out information, news releases, and such about what is going on in Lansing and beyond.
As soon as I get a link, I'll at least get it on our socials if it's over the weekend, or do my best to. So we won't have a link until the committees really get to their work, and get things posted. Got
you. I appreciate that. And also, when you said, I really can't share more. I know that you, Justin, probably know more because you are so plugged in Lansing. Yes, I get that you can't share more, but there's not too much that goes on in Lansing that you're not aware of.
I like to think that's the case, but I do know more than I can say at this time. I do know a few more details, but not too much. They are playing it pretty close to the vest. So I try and stay as plugged in as possible so that I can make sure that hunters, anglers, and trappers in Michigan are getting adequately represented. And
you do a great job on this. And I realize membership is not your area. That's Steve's area. But let's put a plug in for membership, because MUCC survives on membership. You're putting a push right now. You want more members. There's strength in numbers, right?
Absolutely. The bigger number I get to go tell the legislature when I go talk to them, the more powerful our voice is. So it's mucc.org/join, and you can go right there and sign up, or mucc.org/donate, and you can make a one-time or a recurring donation monthly, which the monthly donations actually come with a number of perks associated with them. So there's plenty of opportunities to help support the work we do.
Hey, who needs Steve Wyndham when we've got Justin Tomei out there making the plug, right?
Hey, I'll make sure. Well, I need you at my next performance review, Mike. I got to get you and Tom Weston from the DNR.
All right, Justin, keep up the good work. I will keep an eye on your social feeds over the weekend to see if we can learn more, and I'll look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good one.
All right, and good luck in the woods as well. Justin Tomei of MUCC, MUCC.org. I'm busting the chops of Steve Wyndham. Steve, also a good friend of mine, who is kind of on the membership side of things, and he is the guy he's the guy who ran the golf outing. It was just my pretty face, but it was Steve's work behind the scenes. We'll take a break. This week's Ask Avery question coming up. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Houghton Lake on the Twister, 92.1 WTWS. You can hear us in the Thumb, Sandusky, WMIC, 660 AM, 95.3 FM. And you can hear us north of the bridge in Escanaba on WCHT, 600 AM, 93.5 FM. The Ask Avery segment is brought to you each week by the good folks at Security Credit Union. Security Credit Union loves to work with outdoorsmen and women, and they can help you with your next outdoor adventure. Check them out online at securitycu.org. That's securitycu.org. The way the Ask Avery segment works, this is your chance to get involved in the content of the show. You can ask me a question, something you want me to answer directly or something you want me to pass along, say to MUCC or DNR, maybe somebody I have a little better access to than you do. And the best way to get those questions to me is not via social media messaging. I have a lot of people trying to send me messages that way. And you know what? I try to get those. I try to stay on top of those. But the single most effective way is to send me a good old-fashioned email. The address is mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com because my website is mikeaveryoutdoors.com. So my email address is mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. And this week's question is something that several people have been questioning me about lately, including my good friend Paul Phillips, extreme long-range shooter Paul Phillips. And that's about the question of baiting. There's some confusion still about whether we can bait for deer in the Lower Peninsula. And the confusion comes from, I think, the fact that there were some politicians, legislators, who introduced legislation that would allow for a bait license. That didn't go anywhere. I don't remember what the amount was, whether it was a $20 license or $25 or whatever. It didn't go anywhere. Now, that is not a surprise because we didn't think that it would. And I'm not sure, I can't speak for those legislators. I don't know if they were seriously thinking that it would go through or it was just a way to make a point with the DNR or maybe get their name out there. I don't know. And also I think part of the confusion comes from the fact that if you go to any gas station in the Lower Peninsula, there are likely to be mounds, piles, pallets of carrots, sugar beet, corn. Now, what do you think that carrots, sugar beet, and corn are being used for? Being used for deer bait. The reason it's legal to sell those is because, hey, nobody knows if you're buying that bait and going to the UP or not, because it is legal to bait deer in the UP in limited quantities and in the non-CWD areas. But in the Lower Peninsula, it is not legal. I'll repeat, it is not legal to use bait for whitetails. I don't care if you're putting out a gallon of corn and spreading it out over a 20-foot area. Forget about the old rules, right? It is not legal to bait for whitetails in the Lower Peninsula. The reason being is the DNR is convinced and committed to the concept of baiting helps spread CWD, chronic wasting disease. Now, forget about the fact that food plots also encourage, back up a step. they say baiting spreads CWD because it encourages and increases nose-to-nose contact between whitetails. If you have seen whitetails in the wild, you know that there is a lot of nose-to-nose contact. There's a lot of grooming. There's a lot of very close interaction, especially in the family groups. But you'll also see that right in food plots. Now, baiting is illegal, but food plots are allowed and even encouraged. If you go to an orchard and see animals, whitetails, eating underneath apple trees that have dropped apples, that's completely legal. You could hunt under an apple tree, even though you've got a congregation of deer there. You could hunt under an oak tree where the acorns have dropped. That's legal. I personally do not expect to see any movement on lifting the bait ban for whitetails in the Lower Peninsula in the foreseeable future. I know some politicians would like to see it happen. I don't think it's going to happen. The DNR has put too much effort and too much attention to the bait ban to ever back down from that now. If they backed down from a bait ban, I think they would lose a lot of credibility over it. Personally, I would like to see hunters be able to use bait. If the DNR wants us to take more animals, and they do, give us all the tools to do that, and baiting is one tool. You know, if you choose not to bait, then don't bait. It's like hunting with hounds. If you don't want to hunt with hounds, don't hunt with hounds. If you don't want to bait, don't bait. But I would like to see us be able to bait, but I don't see it happening anytime in the Lower Peninsula in the foreseeable future. So don't make that mistake. Don't think, well, yeah, I can bait now because the politicians. No. There is no baiting for whitetails in the Lower Peninsula. If you are hunting over bait, like many, 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 many hunters are, you take the risk of being ticketed for it. So just know that that's the case. So thank you, Security Credit Union, for making each week's Ask Avery segment possible. Check them out online at securitycu.org. That's securitycu.org. When we come back in our third hour, we're changing gears. We're going fishing. We're going sturgeon fishing on the St. Clair River.
Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine. Mike Avery has covered the outdoors in Michigan for more than 4 decades, and that tradition continues today. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Jay's Sporting Goods, the Yater Insurance Group, Angler Quest Pontoons, The Forward Corporation, Security Credit Union, Offshore Tackle, Hammond Drives and Equipment, Garber Chevrolet, the West Branch Visitors Bureau, Rapid River Knife Works, and by Michigan Brand Meats. Now, here's Mike Avery.
Yes, indeed. This is the big guy, Mike Avery. And this is the third hour of this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across our great state of Michigan. And so glad to have you along with us as we kick off this month of Rocktober. Rocktober, the rock and roll, single most rock and roll month of the year. Now, so far, Mother Nature does not seem to be cooperating. As I look at the forecast for this weekend, I see an 84-degree day in there. Come on. Really? Mother Nature has not been, she's not been our friend this year, has she? The summer was so hot and so muggy. The fall, early part of the fall, so dry. And now so warm. But there's nothing we can do about the weather, right? We can complain about it, which I'm going to continue to do. If you're going to throw 84-degree temperatures at me in the month of October, I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to gripe about it. But it won't change anything. I got an interesting email from Jim Felgenauer earlier in the week. Now, Jim is with Sturgeon for Tomorrow. down on Lake St. Clair River, Lake St. Clair. Really, he's been an absolute huge proponent of that fishery. So I said, Jim, I want to talk to somebody about the sturgeon fishing this week on the show. Who do you recommend? He said, I recommend Captain Anthony Moreschini of Finns Sportfishing. Well, I had also had a phone call in to Captain Pete Patsalis of Hook One Charters, and I asked him the same question independently, not because I didn't believe either one of them, but I had two different phone calls out there at the same time. Pete says, Captain Anthony Moreschini. I thought, okay, well, I've got two guys who I respect very, very much. I said, I'm looking for a great captain who is a great speaker, and they both said Captain Anthony Moreschini of Finns Sportfishing, finnsportfishing.com. So I reached out to Captain Anthony, and he said, yeah, I can talk to you. And guess what? He's with us now on the Outdoor Magazine phone line. Cap, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Well, listen, it's a real pleasure. You and I have not met in person yet, but I hear great things about you. And so obviously you're doing some good work, so keep it up.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So let's talk about the Lake St. Clair, the St. Clair River sturgeon fishery. How did you get involved in this, Cap?
Well, when I was a kid, I was actually jigging for walleye at the Ambassador Bridge. Happened to snag one. It jumped out of the water next to the boat, and I said to myself, you know what? I want to catch these things. It's the biggest thing in the lake and biggest thing in Michigan. I want to get one on the hook.
Well, and when you were a kid, that was a few years ago, and the fishery's even better now, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because, we've come a long way with electronics and everything else. So it's tough to say whether it's, I definitely would say it's got to be getting better. We're seeing better fish, more fish. And the fishery's just, to me, it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. This year's been absolutely the best thing I've ever seen as far as sturgeon fish in the last 20 years.
Well, and that's saying a lot. I mean, and the pictures I've seen from the fishery this year, from the resource this year, I mean, these fish are crazy big.
Absolutely, yeah. They're and every year's a little bit different. Some years you see more of one size than another. So far this year, I've seen some absolute giant fish. Some of the biggest fish I've caught in my life have come this year, and some of the most fish I've seen have come this year as well. So it seems to be getting a lot better.
So how do you target these fish? Number one, where do you find them? Are they all in the river, or do you find them up in Lake St. Clair too?
So there's a really big population of fish in Lake St. Clair. It's easier to target them in the St. Clair River system. You can target them all the way from Port Huron down to into Lake St. Clair and the Detroit River as well. What makes the North Channel such a good fishery is that they're confined to a small area. And a lot of fish like to go there to spend the winter in the deeper holes. January, February, they'll hang out in that river system until it's time to get up in the spring and start moving around, doing their spawning, looking for areas that they're going to spend the summer. That's what Lake St. Clair is actually. There's just an abundance of food in that lake for them. They can go out there. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of fish in that lake. Not a lot of people realize it, but there's actually more sturgeon in Lake St. Clair than anywhere else in the area. Wow. It's a lot more difficult to target them in the lake than in the river. The river system just makes a great angling spot to be able to target them due to the fact they're so confined in certain areas.
So the river system has them concentrated, but still the river, the St. Clair River, is a pretty good-sized body of water. Where do you find them in the river?
So you can find them. They're typically adjacent to, just like any kind of fish, you're looking for some type of specific structure on the bottom, or bends in the river, current, different stretches of the river where there's different current, there's eddies. Electronics is a good way to find them as well. But they move around a lot too. So if you anchor anywhere in the, specifically in the North Channel system, you're going to have a good chance of when them fish start getting up, moving around, looking for food, they're going to come in and get contact with you one way or another.
You mentioned electronics. I have fished for St. Clair River sturgeon a couple times, and when you see a sturgeon on your electronics, there's no doubt, is there?
Well, no. When you're 4, 5, 6 foot long, you're relatively easy to find in that river system. Versus when you're looking at walleye, when you're trying to find smaller fish, it's a little bit more difficult. But it's hard to hide when you're 4, 5, 6 foot long.
Now you mentioned
but, you also have to.
Yeah.
You also have to know how to use your electronics as well. That seems to be, a big thing I find with anglers is they have the technology. They're just not familiar with how to use it.
Are you guys using forward-facing sonar yet to pinpoint these fish?
I haven't got into that yet. I don't feel that kind of technology is important in the sturgeon fishing. Not quite yet. Like I said, I haven't got into it. It is possible that it is a good thing. I just haven't spent the money to invest to find that out yet.
Well, you haven't really had to yet, right? I mean, using the technology and the techniques and the experience that you have, you've been very successful.
Absolutely. And I think back to, 15, 20 years ago when we just went out and said, well, we're going to fish. Well, let's try here and let's try there. And we didn't know what we were doing. We were just going to drop bait on the bottom, see if we could catch something. If we did, then that became a spot. And you just keep trying new spots until you get kind of a program together. And then you have a general idea if you're playing the wind and what the weather's doing, where you're going to fish that night.
Your season, let's see, your catch and keep season just came to a close, but your catch and release continues for a while, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The season goes till March 16th.
Oh, it does?
I typically fish. Yep, I typically fish till the middle of October. Seems as if that weather really starts to change about then. We get a lot of strong west winds, which if anyone knows fishing a west wind in that river, it gets a little dangerous. That wind blows up the current and just generates these giant waves. Even with a 15-mile-an-hour wind, it becomes a little sketchy. You'll have 2-3 footers rolling down the river, which makes it difficult to anchor because it just wants to push you up current. But yeah, that weather it comes in middle of October, and by then, after 3 months, I've had about enough. I'm ready to go catch something smaller.
Something smaller.
Yep.
So, how are you targeting these fish? It sounds to me like you're fishing on the bottom, right?
Yeah, and that's what's nice about them is, unlike other fish, sturgeon, you're always going to locate on the bottom. They're simple in that fact that you're always going to, you're using pretty much the same bait all the time. The rigs are always the same. It's not like you're whether you want green today or yellow or, basically put a gob of worms on the hook, send it down to the bottom, let the bait sit there in an area where there's fish, and you wait for that bite window to open up and them to start moving and eating food.
So it's not a sophisticated way to fish.
It really isn't. As far as every other fish I've targeted, it's really one of the more simple ways to fish. You just go out, put an anchor down, drop your bait down to the bottom, and wait for a fish to come along and pick it up.
And that fish, as you say, just might happen to be 4 feet long and 75 years old, which makes it pretty unique right there.
Yeah, which would be honestly on the smaller side. My fish typically average right around 5 foot. We're usually an inch less or an inch more than that on average throughout the season.
That is crazy. We're talking with Captain Anthony Moreschini of Finns Sportfishing, the website finnsportfishing.com, finnsportfishing.com, talking about this St. Clair River sturgeon fishery, which is, I don't know, it's a world-class fishery that we have right here in Michigan. A lot of people know about it, but I think a lot more anglers don't know about it. So we'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine Show. When we come back, we'll talk more with Captain Anthony about this tremendous fishery we have right here in the great state of Michigan. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show on more than 30 stations across this great state of Michigan, including 98.5 WUPS out of Houghton Lake. In Holland, you can hear us on WHTC 1450 AM, 99.7 FM. This segment of Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Killer Food Plots. Now, I realize you're not putting in food plots right now, but you are likely hunting over food plots. I hope your food plots are looking better than ours are. Honestly, this just bone-dry fall just has not helped out our food plots at all. Although I see, we're getting some green coming up, but man, they need some rain. And they don't need 84-degree weather, okay? Can I just gripe about that again one more time? Anyway, Killer Food Plots not only makes seed, but they also make, well, here's a great product called AquaShield. AquaShield is a product that can directly fight EHD. If you treat your water holes and your ponds with AquaShield, it can fight this midge fly hatch that happens during dry weather when the water level drops. And it is a very, very effective tool against EHD. Also, Killer Food Plots make sense. They make a cover sense and attractant sense as well. To learn more, check out the website killerfoodplots.com. That's killerfoodplots.com. Right now, though, we're talking about some fishing, some fall fishing. Specifically, the biggest game fish that swims in Michigan. Sturgeon. Have you ever seen a sturgeon? I have. They are so ugly, they're beautiful. They are a prehistoric fish. They can get, 4, 5, 6 feet long, 100 pounds bigger. Captain Anthony Moreschini of Finns Sportfishing probably has seen more big sturgeon come across the gunnels of his boat than anybody in the state of Michigan. Cap, that's a pretty cool thing to have people say about you, but it's something you've worked a long time to get to this point, haven't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's been a lot of trial and error that has gone into it over the years. A lot of the wrong sinkers, the wrong hooks, the wrong line, just to all figure out, the best way to target these fish to where you don't have break-offs, you don't lose fish, and you're at the right spot at the right time. Definitely lots of trial and error.
So at this point, when you take people out, do your clients have a pretty good chance of hooking into a sturgeon?
It's approximately 90. This year, it's 100%.
Are you serious?
But on average years, we're right at about 96 to 98% success rate.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the last 5 years, I've held on to a 4.5 fish average. So we average a fish an hour.
Man. And what size is the average fish?
Currently, the average fish, over the years, it's generally right around 60 inches. Like I said, plus or minus an inch right in there. I keep really good records of all my catches, so I measure every single fish. At the end of the year, I take all the fish I caught, the amount of trips, the sizes, so I know my averages, how many I've caught, average per hour, and the average fish per trip. And it gives me a good idea, too, at the end of the year. If I make changes and I look and see, oh, man, I average, a little bit more this year, then maybe the changes I made, did actually help a lot.
Are these daytime trips or nighttime?
So my trips run from 5 to 10 p.m. And I picked that time just because that sunset period really holds a good bite window right in there. But honestly, you can catch them any time of the day. You can go out 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the morning. They have bite windows, and some bite windows are stronger than others. You might do better at 2 p.m. than at 2 a.m. Catch fish both times. One might be a little better than the other. So them bite windows are really important. Just sitting there waiting. Some days I could tell you, listen, we're going to have to wait an hour or two. That's been the trend every day. But then sometimes, as you know, fish do what they want when they want to do it. Sometimes they're predictable. Other times you have no clue what's going to happen, which, is why they call it fishing and makes it fun.
And what is the bite of a sturgeon like?
So generally, very rarely will you actually see the bite. What you generally see is when they come up, the amount of suction they have when they pick up something they want, you generally don't see much of that. What you see is them dragging the sinker. So after they pick up that bait, they swim forward, they suck it up, they have it in their mouth, and they start swimming away with it. So what I usually see is I'll start seeing the sinker dragging through the sand, which tells me they have a hold of the bait. All I have to do is reel the line down tight, pull back, get the hook set, and then the fish is on after that. So it's really quite simple. We used to do a lot of different things where we see a bite, pick up the line, drop it, feed it back to them. When slowly we realized that when they suck the bait up, they got it. There's no, you don't have to feed it to them. They got that big mouth, and the amount of suction, like I said, they have. I mean, it's incredible. When they inhale that bait, they have it in their mouth. And you don't have to worry about, there's no swallowing the hook or gut hooking, because generally when they suck up a piece of bait, they're using their tongue to crush it to the roof of their mouth. They won't swallow it whole. So that's one nice thing about them is I've never seen a fish die. I've never seen a fish have a hook generally past its lips. You might get to the tongue. That's about as far as they go because, they feed mostly on a lot of zebra mussels. So when they suck that in, they use their tongue, crush it to the roof of their mouth, and then start inhaling them pieces. So you don't have to worry about gutting hooking fish, which is another nice thing about them, unlike a lot of other fish that bottom feed.
And then once they realize they're hooked, what happens then? What is the fight like of having a fish that size on the end of your line?
Well, two things generally happen. One, they either don't know they're hooked yet. Sometimes that could go on for up to 5 minutes. They'll just swim right to the boat and then have an ever-loving meltdown when they know what's going on. Another thing they'll do is sometimes you'll hook them, and immediately they jump out of the water. They know something's wrong. They eat a lot of zebra mussels, so they're used to getting stuff, poked in their mouth, eating zebra mussels. So it's not uncommon for them to, suck your bait in, start reeling them in, and they leap out of the water. And sometimes that is one of the better chances you can have of losing a fish, is if you don't get that hook set, pulled into them hard enough, and they go to jump right away. If you got a pound of weight swinging back and forth, there is a good chance. That's why I always tell guys, as soon as you get the line tight, if they're going to jump, reel and pull hard. Try to keep everything nice and tight, because that is the one chance you have at losing that fish generally. Usually when they suck that bait in, those lips they have, that hook sinks in there, and there's usually never a chance of that thing coming out.
To see a fish that size jump out of the water, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. We actually had one 2 nights ago clear the water by nearly 3 feet. It was incredible to see. I mean, the fish was 65 inches long, and we were fortunate enough that it happened about 3 feet from the edge of the boat. So we ended up getting on videotape. It was awesome. It's hard to get them jumped so close to the boat. Normally they're farther away, harder to see them. But when they jump out of the water, I've even had 80-inch fish clear the water. And you can't, 150-pound fish, you don't understand how they could even get their entire body out of the water. But being cartilaginous, they have no bones. They can actually swing around and their tail will touch the tip of their nose. So the range of motion they have with their tail they're just able to project themselves out of the water like that, which is, I weigh 160, 70 pounds. I can't get myself out of the water. So it's an incredible thing to watch that fish, get himself out of the water, it just adds to the whole experience, which is incredible as it is.
Well, and then how do you handle these fish? How do you get a fish that size from the water into the boat to get pictures and then let them go again?
It's actually a lot easier than most people think. I like using cradles myself. Once that fish gets to the side of the boat, he's tuckered out. He's usually had enough. He's just laying there pretty much in the current, motionless. And generally they're hooked. Most of the time they're hooked on one side of the mouth. So they'll actually look like a planer board. They'll plane to one side or the other. So depending on what side that is, I like him to plane to the outside of the boat. And then when I get in position and ready, you just lower the cradle next to the water, bring the fish up to the edge of the boat. You dip the one end under and just put them in the cradle, close it, and that's pretty much game over. Another nice thing about the cradle is two nice things. Is one, unlike a hoop net, it won't split the tail. So a lot of times hoop nets, when that fish is thrashing in that hoop net, he turns into the shape of a horseshoe. He'll drag in the current, and then you got to struggle to drag him over the edge of the boat. Whereas the cradle, he gets in that cradle, and when that netting wraps around the side of them, generally they kind of just relax. They feel comforted, as that's what I would assume, because they just kind of lay there. And it's like a gurney. So you keep the fish in the exact same position the whole time. You don't have to curl them up. It's really the best way to handle these fish because you're not messing with them. You're not turning them in weird positions, and you're not hurting them in any way, shape, or form. It's also a good way to revive them as well. When you get you get them big ones over 100 pounds. Sometimes they need a minute, so you can put them back in the cradle, lower the cradle over the side of the boat, and attach the edge of the boat, and he can rest in the current, regain his strength, catch his breath, and then usually within 10 minutes, I mean, he's good to go. You can open that cradle and they'll safely swim away. Most of the fish, most of them fish that are 65 inches and less, you can take them and get them right back in the water. I like giving them a nice torpedo back, and they swim off healthy and perfect.
I just feel like this is a fishery that every angler in Michigan should try at one time in their life, put it on their bucket list to land one of these giant St. Clair River sturgeon. And Captain Anthony Moreschini, it sounds to me like you're one of the best guys out there. I'll send people to your website, finnsportfishing.com, finnsportfishing.com. I appreciate your time, and you can bet that you and I will talk again.
Awesome, Mike. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Been a real pleasure. Captain Anthony Moreschini, finnsportfishing.com. Can you imagine going out there and catching a fish 5 feet long, 6 feet long? I think that's just crazy and very crazy cool that we have it right here in Michigan. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Ludington on News 97, 98, 98.7 WLDN. You can hear us in Traverse City on WTCM 580 AM. And you can hear us downstate in Saginaw, WSGW AM and FM, 790 AM, 100.5 FM. I'm in the studios of WSGW right now. You know that by now. For this 3 hours, I called this corner of the building the Outdoor Magazine studio. And so far, I've been able to get away with it. Earlier, I had Jonathan Dent in here. Now, John is a great guy. I promised I can't bust his chops because he's been hearing from people at church that Avery's been busting his chops. I don't mean to bust his chops. He's such a nice guy. And he's just such an easy target to have fun with. But he honestly does a great job. This guy has got a great future ahead of him. But now Charlie Rood is in here with me. Charlie is a broadcasting icon. An icon. Honestly, I look out the door right now and people are starting to line up waiting for Charlie to leave. The thing about Charlie is don't wait for him to leave because he probably won't. Charlie gets in here about 2 o'clock in the morning and he leaves about 8 o'clock at night. That's how dedicated he is. But you know what those crowds are chanting? Charlie, Charlie. Eventually, John Dent, they will be chanting Jonathan. But not quite yet. See, there's wisdom. There is, like my Yider spot says, there is something to be said for having a few years under your belt. And Charlie does have a few years under his belt. Not as many as me, but Very few people do. This segment of Outdoor Magazine brought to you by my friends at Reeder Landscaping. Let the folks at Reeder create an outdoor getaway in your backyard. And this is the time of year when there's so much going on. Fall maintenance, fall pruning, fall trimming, fall decorating. In my case, the guys from Reeder are coming in next week to do some brush clearing. I could do it myself. And I was looking forward to it. I thought, you know what, that's going to be a good physical workout. And then I got thinking, do I really want to be doing that in October? Aren't there other things I could be doing in October? So I'm going to have the guys from Reeder come in and take care of it. And they will. They'll knock this whole project out in about 3 hours. They'll clear all the brush away and they'll be good to go. And then I can use that time for something else. If it wasn't going to be 84 degrees, I could use it for hunting. By the way, the website for Reeder, reederlandscaping.com, they've been doing it for 60 years, so they know what they're doing. So I think the plan for this weekend is I got my hands on a new to me. It's called a base camp from Old Man Tree Stands. And it is a 7-foot metal platform with not a hard-sided, but a fabric blind on top of it. It's not one of the see-through blinds, but it has, of course, windows you can zip open, right? So I really have been thinking for the last couple of years, I want to get a blind out on our leased property up on some kind of stilts or some kind of a platform. Now, what I really want, and I'll be honest with you, what I really want is one of those hard-sided, plastic, insulated blinds. But I don't want to spend the $2,000 to get one. So this, I think, is going to be a great alternative. So I've asked my grandson, Trent, I said, what are you doing this weekend? He said, well, I want to hunt, but it's going to be so hot, I don't know if I'm going to. I said, why don't you come over? We will put this platform together, and then let's throw it either in the back of the truck or throw it on a trailer, and we'll take it out to the lease property, and we'll set this thing up. And I think what I want to do is we've got a food plot called the State Land Food Plot because it's right next to state land. Get it? The State Land Food Plot. And in the past, we've always just had a double ladder stand there, but I think this is the perfect spot to put this elevated blind up. So anyway, Trent's going to come over and help me out, and I think we're going to take care of that. You know what? It is really nice to have a 23, almost 24-year-old grandson because the kid he's a great kid like all my grandkids are. And when I say, Trent, can you help me out? If he can, he will help me out. And I do appreciate that. So that's our plan for this weekend. I really don't think that I'm going to hunt this weekend. It's just going to be too hot. And you know what? If a big doe did walk in front of me, what am I going to do when it's 84 degrees, right? And I have been informed that we are out of bear burger and we are out of venison burger. So my job, as soon as it cools down, is to get out there and put a big doe down so we can get some venison burger. Since I failed in my quest to get bear burger, but that's a different story. Hey, I had an interesting experience this week, and hopefully you can learn from this. I got all of my new licenses last spring. I got my hunting license, my spring turkey, my fishing licenses, my fall deer tags, my combo tag, and doe tag. Normally, when I get those, I open the envelope and I put them right in my wallet and I forget about them until I need them. Well, this year, I forgot about them all right, and I didn't put them in my wallet, and I couldn't find them. I didn't know where they were. You know, if you lose your licenses like I did, you can get replacement licenses. So that's what I did. I had to pay for them, obviously. So it was, I think it cost me $48 for the two. So it was, kind of an expensive lesson, right? But isn't it nice to know you can get replacement licenses if you need them, if you pull a boneheaded move like I did and don't remember where you put them? Get your licenses, put them in your wallet, and keep them there. That's what I've done in the past. That's what I'm going to do in the future. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. When we come back, let's wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar. What do you think? For something out of the ordinary, for something different, wrap it up with Dixie Dave? He was with us at Wednesday Night Live. It was so nice to see him and Terry and the whole crew. Thank you so much for joining us this week here on the Outdoor Magazine radio show. I do certainly appreciate it. Been doing this for a long time. Don't have any plans to call it quits soon. Of course, my plans and God's plans, you know how that works, right? But if left to my own choice, and again, who knows what that'll be, I'm going to be around for a while. One of the things that I have truly enjoyed the most about this journey, about this venture, this adventure, has been working with some truly great people, including wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar. The very first Wednesday Night Live we ever did away from my home studio was at Dave's restaurant in Birch Run. Of course, the restaurant no longer exists. We did a Wednesday Night Live in West Branch last week. And I was pleasantly surprised as people are walking in the door, and who do I see? I see wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar walk in the door with a big old grin on his face. David, you surprised me, you sneaky devil, you.
It took everything for me not to tell you that when we did the show on Wednesday.
It was so nice. Oh, it was wonderful. It was so nice to see you and the whole crew there, Dave. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
We had a table of 12, so we had quite a bit of company there.
And boy, it was a great turnout, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. That place was packed, literally.
It was
They must have moved a whole bunch of tables and chairs in.
Yeah, we had a good time. I remember that very first Wednesday Night Live at your restaurant, and then that very last one too. That was a heck of a blowout too.
Really? Yep. We did good both times.
Yeah, we did.
Actually, all the time.
Yeah, we did a bunch of them there, Dave. How about a recipe this week? What have you got for us?
Well, we got some comfort food. We got stuffed cabbage leaves with venison, ground venison. It's a good way to use up some of the venison before rifle season, before you start packing it in more. Even though it is opening week of venison or bow season. Mm-hmm. So we need about 2 pounds of lean ground venison, a little bit of salt, not much, and then fresh ground black pepper, 2 large cans of sauerkraut or jars. Rinse them off a little bit, get some of that saltiness away from it. 4 to 6 cloves of garlic diced up fine, a 46-ounce jar or can of good tomato juice. You want a nice and thick one. You don't want a thin, inexpensive one. A tablespoon or 2 of caraway seeds, more or less to your taste. 1 to 2 heads of cabbage. 1.5 cups of rice boiled for about 6 to 8, maybe up to 10 minutes, and then strained and then cool it down. 4 eggs beaten up well. 1 to 2 cups of dry breadcrumbs. A teaspoon of Italian spice or basil and oregano, and milk to moisten. So what you need to do is get that the cabbage leaves soft, and so the best way to do it is to, in a large pan, bring 1 to 2 gallons of water to a boil, cut away the tough center core, and then that'll give you a heavy outside dark, and take away the heavy outside green leaves. You want the nice light colored ones. Submerge the heads one at a time, and as the leaves will, peel them away. Use a heavy meat fork stuck into the center of the core to hold the heads down underwater. When it's done, chill with cold water, strain and drain. Or I actually have frozen the heads of cabbage for a day or so in advance, and then take it out and let them defrost. And that'll actually soften up the heads, the leaves on the heads too. You can do it that way. So in a large mixing bowl, add everything except the caraway seeds, the tomato juice, and the sauerkraut. If it's too dry after you mix it up really well, add a little bit of milk. Take and microwave a little bit of it to taste it and make sure it's the flavor you're looking for. Now is the time to adjust it. So trim the heavy stem leaves from where the the leaves go down where the core is. It's going to be real heavy stem. Take and kind of slice that off and place a small amount of mixture in the meat in the bottom of the leaf and roll and tuck the two sides inwards and then finish rolling up and make sure the edge are tucked in good so there's not to unfold. Arrange in an oven-proof baking pan in layers, and in between each layer place sauerkraut and caraway seeds. When finished, topped with tomato juice and some more sauerkraut. And then cover. I like to put plastic wrap. The sauerkraut will eat up the foil and leach it into the dish. So I put plastic wrap and then foil and bake at 350 degrees until the center is boiling hot. You can take a meat thermometer and check it. Make sure it's at least 180 degrees. Cook it about 2 hours. You want to soften that sauerkraut up and soften up the cabbage leaves to make sure that they're tender. Like I said, this is comfort food, and I love it.
And it sounds like a good one, David. I've got to let you go. Wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Minar, a big part of the Outdoor Magazine show. A guy he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Talk to you next week.